What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Driven to Review. My name is Ryan. Today, got a fun video for you guys. I'm going to be showing you guys how to install the Fuel-It ethanol sensor in your Mustang GT. So I know, like, all the videos I could look up regarding how to install these sensors were on earlier model cars or the 2024 S650 Mustang. So I had a bit of a hard time figuring out how to install it on mine, because from what I could find, the fuel lines are kind of laid out a little bit differently. But so I hope if you guys are having the same issue that I'm having, this video helps you. So yeah, I'll show you. I already installed it, but I'll show you guys how to install it. It's super easy once you kind of figure out which way the hoses go and everything. So yeah, let me show you guys here. So I'll show you guys the box here. So here's the box, just comes in. There's no instructions. I mean, there's like you can go on their website and it is like, click on this video, or click on this link to see the video on how to install. And the videos, again, like, they were for the earlier models and I couldn't figure it out based off those videos. So I hope this video is helpful. But yeah, let me just show you guys how it's set up and how you can install it yourself. Alright, so here it is. So pretty straightforward. This is the sensor itself, and then the kit that I got is the kit with the upgraded to the billet fittings, which are just nicer, better fittings that are really easy to connect. Almost kind of scary too easy, because I thought I was doing something wrong, but it turns out it's just really easy. So I'll kind of explain a little bit more in a second, but here's the whole kit. So it's just, they give you the sensor, the harness, plus the Bluetooth transmitter, which I'll explain in a second. So it just sits here, and then the harness to the sensor goes back over here under the battery bay, and I'll open that up and show you guys how I have it set up. But first off, let me just show you guys. So in the 2018, or maybe it's a pre-2018, one of the two, the fuel lines are just a little bit different. The way they kind of connect are different, in the kit that they send you. It kind of doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest, but I mean, it works. Like, it kind of just sits here, which isn't too appealing to me, but like, it does the job, so I'm not, upset. But so on my car, 2023 Mustang, the way it's set up from factory, let's see, is like pretty much like this. So this is the OEM fuel line that this kit replaces. So it links up. There's a little kind of metal, let's see, there's a metal tube that comes out of the firewall here, which this metal kind of flange looking connection connects to, which then goes to over here, same deal, like metal little pipe. They're both like metal connections that these connect to, but there's two different fittings on here. So there's this metal one, and then there's this quick disconnect one, which is pretty sweet. I mean, it's really easy to disconnect, but this one's kind of a pain because you need a special tool for it. So let me show you that tool and how you use the tool to disconnect this. All right, so here's the factory fuel line, and here's the tool that I got. This is just a fuel line disconnect tool. They come in different shapes, like some are plastic, and they give you a few of them for the different sizes. This is cheap at my local AutoZone. It's like a 3/8 and then another one. I don't actually know what size the other one is, but one of these is 3/8, and that's what the size you want, is a 3/8 disconnect tool. So let me just kind of run you guys through step by step. First thing you're going to want to do is disconnect your battery. Obviously, kind of anytime you're working on anything with electronics, you kind of want to disconnect the battery. And I heard online some people were saying to, like, if you don't run your car and let it sit overnight, that the fuel pressure will drain out and leak out. So I had mine sitting for more than a day, and I undid this disconnect, the quick disconnect fitting, and it sprayed everywhere. So I know there's ways that you can get around that. Like, you can unplug the fuel pump in the back of your trunk and like run the engine for a couple seconds, and then it eventually just dies out, which I did not want to do, and I thought was really weird, so I was not going to test that. But yeah, I mean, so you can just disconnect it like I did. I just put like a bunch of towels under here, under this fitting where the quick disconnect is, I just put a bunch of towels under here and kind of wrapped it, but it came off a lot quicker. Like I thought I would have to tug on it, and I really didn't, so I wasn't able to cover the top in time, which wasn't a big deal, but just so you guys know. So again, this is the OEM factory line. So the next thing you're gonna wanna do is either do, I mean, I would do this one first because it's the easiest to cover with gas spraying out. But the next thing you would do after that is do this one. So again, I was showing you guys that tool. So all you wanna do is like this is connected to that little metal pipe. It goes straight into here. You just take this tool, it's really kind of easy. You just take this tool, the right size, you wrap it around that little metal pipe like that, and then push up into the flange, I'm gonna call it that, like this. And basically what you're doing is you're pushing on these little tabs in here to release the, like if you, like, I don't know if you can see it, the little tabs here, when you use this tool to push on them, it makes the room for the pipe to slip out because there's a little kind of ridge on that end of the metal pipe right there. So it's pretty easy. But yeah, so once you do that, then what you're gonna want to do. So what I did is I attached, so I couldn't figure out which tube was which. So I took like kind of a guess, but what I did was I kind of just set it all and kind of like try to hold it all together and like line it up to what I thought would be right. I did confirm this with them, and this is the correct way to do it. So they give you this little one with the right angle connection. So the right angle is right here, connects to your sensor this way, and then all of the other ones, at least with the billet fittings, are all straight. So straight, straight, and then this one's also straight. So what I did, and what I found was to be the easiest was to just attach these to the sensor first. And to do that, you just get a little adjustable wrench, and you undo this little piece, this metal piece. You attach it onto the metal pipe, push this in, and then use a wrench to tighten it. It sounds kind of weird, but it works really well. Also, I apologize for not being able to show you guys actually me installing this, because at first I didn't want to film it and be like, oh, this isn't right, or have an issue with it. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you guys can kind of get what I'm saying. It's pretty straightforward. Like once you get it and you actually look at it, it's really simple to figure out. I think it took me like 30 minutes to do this, and I didn't know how to do it. So that's what I did. Attached it here first, then attached these two. I did that one first, then that one. Because that one's a little tricky to kind of get in there, fit a wrench in there and everything, but it's pretty straightforward. From there, all you have to do is you plug in. So they give you this harness, and the harness with this male end right here, this red male end, plugs into the sensor. And then over here, I just kind of ran it behind the engine on top, sort of. I just zip tied it to my existing sub wire. It's not super pretty, but it works. Then what you're gonna want to do, take the, it's pretty, I'm not doing all this. So this is the incoming from that harness to the wire to the sensor, which plugs into this little module, which is like your Bluetooth or your Bluetooth transmitter, but it also does your CAN bus wire, your analog signal wire, out the other end. And then this harness, it's super easy. You just hook up one to red to positive, one to negative. I've seen a couple other people put on a fuse so the sensor turns on and off when you turn on and off the ignition or accessory mode. I didn't think that was super necessary because it's not drawing really any power, but yeah. And then again, so this white wire would be so you could hook it up to your ECU, so the vehicle can actually read the sensor, whereas this way you're just reading it via the Fuel It app. Originally, I was led to believe that Lund offered a option to integrate a flex sensor into the multi-tune. Apparently I was wrong, and I found that out after I ordered the sensor. because Lund does not offer the capability of plugging a ethanol sensor into the ECU for the tune to read and automatically adjust your ethanol content, which, I mean, I was pretty upset about it because I thought they could, and it would be really, really cool and simple if they could do that, but they can't. Oh well. The sensor works great. If you're running any kind of like forced induction, I know you want to do a bypass on the sensor, which would basically just be like, you could do a Y fitting right here. This would be really easy to DIY too. You can just put like a Y fitting here and right here. Then you run a hose that bypasses the sensor, because the sensor is only rated up to a certain amount of pressure, and when you pass that amount of pressure, you can break the sensor. So I'm pretty much stock on internal Ys, so I don't need to worry about that yet. But yeah, so kind of a bummer about that. The 2 not being able to read it, I was a little upset about that, but oh well. But yeah, so far my experience has been really good with it. I noticed I filled up with gas, and it took about 5 minutes of idling, and then like 2,000 RPM rev holds for it to like start reading the new fuel. A lot longer than I thought, which isn't a big deal at all. Before I had the sensor, I was giving it like 3 minutes, so I realized I was kind of doing that wrong, but no big deal. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I'll show you guys the app. It's actually reading right now because it's still plugged in, but so if we open up the app, it's pretty cool. You used to have to pay for it, but now you don't, thankfully. Like, if you had to still pay for this, it'd be pretty dumb. But so you just open up here, you go connect. So yeah, so no, right now the gas that's sitting in the sensor is E71, which is right. It was kind of going between 71 and 72, but it was staying at 71 for the most part, so I set the car to 71. Tells you your ethanol content, your fuel temperature, and then you can go down here and set, so like, here, let me show you. Actually, first, before we do this, the first thing you really want to do if you're using that calculator is go here and set what your 91, 93 octane ethanol percentage is. I know mine is 10%. So then once you've set that, you can go to the calculator and be like, oh, okay, my car has, the Mustang is a 16-gallon fuel tank, so you can go in and be like, okay, let's say I have 6 gallons. I'm currently at, let's say, an E50 blend. Pump E content is right about E75. So then you go here to your desired E content, and sometimes you might have like error, which just means that you can't fill to the blend that you're wanting based off of how much gas you have in your tank and what content it is currently. So it's kind of confusing. Like, as you can see, like as I get closer down to my E10 91 octane to 0, it'll error out, because basically right here what I'd have to do is fill up with just about 10 gallons of E75 and then 0.13 gallons of E10. Yeah, it's kind of changing because it's still reading the current gas, but this, I don't know how I feel about this calculator, honestly. I have another calculator. Let me see what it is. It's called E85 Cal, and this one just works really well. It's a lot simpler, I think. You just put all your stuff in here, and then you set your fuel level percentage, which a tuning device should read out to you directly. So you can just set your percentage, and then it gives you the results here. So I like that one a little bit better than the fuel one, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, so I hope this video was pretty helpful for you guys. Leave any questions down in the comments. As always, I'm pretty quick to answer them. But yeah, not much to say. Yeah, keep it classy. Right out.